confidential human sources with Ray Epps and all the stuff that was going on to make him look so bad, Pat, that he's the one that provoked January 6th. When he said, be peaceful, go down there, you can protest. It's blatantly obvious what they did, and I love that you said that, Tom. They're doing it, Pat, in plain sight. We're going to get to California in front of our faces, and we can't do nothing about it. Nothing. California can't do nothing, and we're so lucky because, Pat, Gavin Newsom is, but notice how he's quiet. He's the front runner. If they get in power, what do you think they're going to make it on a national scale, this mail-in ballots? Do you remember in Georgia, Pat, they had these, all the drop-offs on, the Sharpie ballots in Arizona, everything. They cheated, but it's not illegal because you know what she said? That's how California voting is. And do you think it's right?
That's correct, and she doesn't even want to ask a tough question on it. And this is a president that gets over 90% negative coverage from them.
Yeah.
And my point was, she's acting like she's at a congressional hearing, and he owes an answer for her out of her briefing book. It's a game of gotcha, and she, despite the ratings and everything, so the people that are watching have seen the ratings move, but she is part of the media.
Yeah, she is, Tom.
Adam.
Well, I watched the entire interview, and at first I think we sent a clip on our group chat.
Yep.
My first reaction was, wow, Trump really looks like a jerk here. And I said, let me actually do my due diligence here. And then I realized this was the last 2 minutes of almost like a 90-minute rain marathon in what looked like a barn in Wisconsin. And the conversation turned, at least initially for the first hour, was very cordial. I mean, he was being fine. And then it kept stopping and starting because of the rain. So what we're seeing is the tail end of him being frustrated, annoyed, and just done with the situation. And that's what's getting the headlines. But what I was focused on was sort of the substantive arguments that he was making. And I'll go real quick. I have 3 little things here. So number one, he said, listen, we're close to a deal. And let me tell you something. Part of, if this deal doesn't come through, you know what I might do? She goes, what's that? He goes, I might blow the hell out of him. He goes, it's much easier to do, but I don't want to do that. But he goes, and then he kept saying, listen, this is 100 days. And he kept giving examples. He goes, Vietnam, we were in 19 years. And then she kept trying to correct him. And then, he goes, excuse me, 19 years. Like, what don't you understand? We're talking about 3 months versus 19 years in Vietnam. And he talked about Korea, and he talked about Iraq, talked about Afghanistan. He goes, guys, it's been 100 days. Are you really playing this game that we don't have enough time? And that's why I think maybe he's not that concerned with the midterms as much as maybe we would suspect. Number two, it was so funny. It's almost like you would say this in the playground. He goes, they did their blockade, and then we blockaded their blockade. And he goes, it's costing them how much? Almost $500 million a day. So I think he's just basically saying, we're going to squeeze them dry. He talked about him and VID being on the same page. They do have some differences in how surgical they want to be in Lebanon, but we're very much on the same page. We get along very well. And then she kept pressing him on, you said no new wars, you said no new wars. He goes, excuse me, I never said that. He goes, and in fact, why the hell would I put so much money into the military and try to build up our military so much if you thought I was never going to use them? Then he kept basically saying...
Let's play this clip. Play the clip on no wars, Rob.
Because you insisted no wars.
First of all, I didn't guarantee no war. Why would I have built the strongest military in the world? I built our military. I inherited a terrible military. We had no equipment. We had nothing. I built a tremendous military. Biden gave a lot of it away, but it's still a relatively small portion compared to what I built.
But you said it over and over again.
Why would I build a military? Now, I didn't want to use this, but I'm doing you and everybody else a big favor. In the midst of the greatest stock market in history, in the midst of the most successful country, because as you know, in the last time we were dead country, Kristen. I know you're a big liberal.
Just a journal. What?
Just the journal.
Well, by the way, they cut it off right there. Here's what I think Trump believes more than anything, and he said this a few times. He goes, I'm doing the world a favor, whether you like it or not. And then he said something very specific. He goes, I won the election. Why? Because the American people trusted my judgment more than anyone else. He goes, if they have a nuclear weapon, and then he made it personal, he goes, they'll blow you up. Kristen Welker, they'll blow you up. They'll blow up Meet the Press. They'll blow up everything. These are crazy people, but I like them. I get along with them well, but they're crazy. And he said, I'm the first president in 47 years who had the guts to do this. And that's got to think where he is.
Yeah, and by the way, in the middle of the interview, they talk about jobs report.
Yeah.
And, she says, did you see the jobs report? Why don't you say the numbers? Go ahead and say the numbers.
Yeah.
172,000. What was the expectation? It was 3 times what you guys thought.
Yeah.
So if it's so bad, why are we creating so many jobs?
Yeah.
This is it, Rob. If you want to play this, go for it.
Expecting. You got a strong jobs report today that beat expectations.
Not strong. Really strong.
Beat expectations.
By how much? Triple.
172,000 jobs created. You got a strong job.
Right.
But by the way, what's unfortunate is, and by the way, the media knows what they're doing. They put the worst clip. It's actually a good conversation, and it's worth watching. Seriously, it's actually a good conversation. It's worth watching. But when Trump walked out, this kind of leads me into the next story with Spencer Pratt. So you guys know we talked about it like a week ago, and everybody was expecting him to advance with Karen Bass, and he was going out there celebrating the picture with him and his wife. He had an 8-point lead, and everyone's looking at this chart. If you look at this, Rob, if you want to zoom in a little bit, so the blue is Karen Bass, the orange is Spencer Pratt, and the green is Ramen. Now watch what's going on here. June 2nd is election. Look at the difference in lead on where Spencer Pratt is. Look at the 3rd and 4th, and then look at the spike. Look at the spike. So you mean to tell me, out of all those thousands of votes, now all of a sudden they only want to do Ramen?
That's insane.
That's what they want to do? That's what you mean to? You want me to believe that? And it goes from 71,000 to 153,000. Look how Bass only goes up 30,000, but she goes up 83,000 votes, 82,500 votes. And during that time, only Pratt goes up 44,000 votes. And then they're catching up. And Rob, if you go to the new chart that shows Ramen ahead, you will see this. So this is what it's looking like now. Malin's arriving before election. Bass 38, Pratt 28, Ramen 20. Pratt's got a 28-point lead. Malin's arriving after election. Ramen 37%, plus 17. Bass goes down 3. Pratt goes down 9. You want people to believe this. Then there's another one. The vote 83% counter translates. Not this one, Rob. The other one where the judge is talking about how they allow people to vote in LA, and I even send it to you guys. I think you have it, Rob. If you go through the notes, you definitely have. This is the one. Watch this. So first go to the bottom for him to show the picture, because I think this is reacting to a picture. If you want to make this a little bit bigger. So he sends this in, talking about what's really going on. Sends it to Honorable Shirley Ann Weber, Legal Office of Secretary of State, State of California. And he goes back and go to the tweet, Rob. Let's go back to the tweet if you can, please. Okay, go all the way to the top. California is blocking. I spoke to Spencer Pratt last night. I said, why are they not investigating this? Well, California is blocking a federal audit of its voter polls. California allows first-time voters. Folks, you ready for this? This is not a joke. To register using forms of ID that most Americans would find surprising, including gym membership card. I joked about this on Friday, and I said, I'm just joking. Well, guess what? I was fact-checked, and I wasn't joking. Apparently, that was true. In California, you can actually vote with your Valley Total Fitness card. Can you imagine you can go with your LA Fitness card and vote? Employer ID, credit card or debit card, prescription drug label, insurance card. And if you think this is BS, Rob, go on the link, because I thought he's just BSing. Go on the link. So this is what website, Rob? Can we verify what website this is? sos.california.gov, okay? So go on that first point that says current and valid photo ID, third party. Look at right there, go a little bit lower, Rob. Look at A, driver's license, B, passport, identification card, credit card, military identification card, health club identification card, H. This is on their website, by the way. And I'm sitting there yesterday, I'm like, there's no way this has to be real. So if you go, Rob, right now and ask Chat or ask ChatGPT, what are the top 5 slowest states when it comes down to elections, and go to the top 5 fastest states when it comes down to counting ballots. Basic question, okay? And I'm asked this question on Grok, on Chat, on pretty much everything I can, because I want to know, Chat can lean a little bit on the other side.
Of course.
So watch this, okay? Fastest states, Florida. How the hell does Florida do it fast? The gold standard, okay? Texas. By the way, watch this. This is the other question I ask. Florida, red state. Texas, red. Georgia, red. Virginia, consistently reports a large percentage of votes on election day. Carolina, red. Now go to the slowest states. Look at the slowest. Why do you think it's slow? California, known as the slowest, frequently the slowest major state, accepts ballots arriving after election day if postmarked on time, extensive signature verification and provisional ballot review. Arizona, Nevada, Alaska, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I think 4 out of 5 of these states are all left, on the left. Why do you want it to be slower? So when you see the president getting upset with Walker, you're sitting there saying, maybe the guy's got an argument. Matter of fact, let me ask you guys a question. If let's just say, Vinny, Tom, Adam, if let's just say a party, forget whatever party it is, Tom, take the Libertarian Party, take the Green Party, Vinny, take the Democratic Party, take the Republican Party, Adam. You go hire a mob, the Italian Mafia, and I'm talking old school. You hire them as consultants, and you tell them, hey, what can we do to increase the chances of winning every election we want and not allow the other side to win? What would you advise us to do? What do you think they would say? Okay, imagine you went to the mob, the mafia. Okay, you're asking criminals who do this for a living, what can we do to never lose elections again in our state? What do you think advice they would give you?
The mob?
What would they say is the first thing you got to change? You know what's the first thing I would say? Do whatever you can to not require photo IDs. Check. We did it in California. Number 2, make it as slow as possible so we can count ballots afterwards. Check. Allow mail-in ballots and as long as possible. Check. As long as you do this, don't worry about it. You'll have it under control. You're serious? Oh yeah, you're gonna have it under control. And convince Americans that getting photo IDs is racist.
Racist, brilliant. That's the
Convince them it's racist.
Got it.
Yeah.
And convince them it takes very slowly.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
Yeah.
Why your race is against blacks? Your race is against, and blacks are like, no, what are you talking about? I can get an ID. No, but it's racist because these people don't like you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they don't like you.
And where would
That's
they
why
put
they're
those
trying to do
ideas
this.
out?
So
Where
then
it's
you
like
look
those
at charts.
source
69% of Democrats.
right
you
when
know
it
what
gets
they want?
fed out
69% of
and it
Democrats
reaches
want
those
photo
mass
IDs
audiences.
for election. You know what the numbers
public
for
school
Republicans?
systems
95,
health
96%.
care outreach programs
83% of Americans
start to
want
connect the
a
dots,
flippin' ID to vote.
Mental
and if you
illness,
want the
all
American
right.
people to sit there and believe that if you accept a gym membership, no one's cheating. No wonder the president got upset at Welker. Now, should he have called her stupid or whatever? That's Trump style. He's always been like that. That's a conversation that you can have. But no wonder he can sit there and watch it a state. By the way, as much as I take shots at people in California, you know I do, my Armenian, Assyrian, Persian friends. They message me, hey, you're not being fair, you're not doing this. You know what, if you haven't worked with me long term, face to face, like in a company, you don't know my style. You only know me from the podcast and the relationships that we have. You don't know how I challenge, you don't know how I drive. You haven't been with me behind closed doors. Some people have witnessed how I do what I do there. You don't think I want to see California flip? You don't think I want to see a mayor flip? You know how bad I feel for my friends in LA right now? You know how bad I feel for my friends in California right now? You know how annoyed these people are? These are good people that have said, I'm not leaving. And then you do something like this. And you want something to change with this? By the way, do you remember that one interview where Newsom's like, oh, we're not worried about the elections? And he had that smile? This was like 3 weeks ago.
I've still got the clip. You want to see how? And Mike, that's why he's so quiet.
Breaking the glass.
Oh, this is the attitude of exactly. Go ahead.
We all have agencies. We can shape the future. There's still a lot. Look, I've said this before, so I'll repeat it. I don't anticipate this need to be the case, but there is a break the glass scenario, and there's many people that have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out, and we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen.
And you're just saying the quiet part out loud.
And Adam,
we're going to do everything possible.
And nobody can do
make
anything.
sure.
Agencies can shape.
Do something about it.
Agencies could shape the future.
Yeah,
and I'm
something.
tired of hearing, Pat.
someone's reminding us that Newsom, back when a lot of those concerns were going on in these same activist lines, when you look at what they were getting other people promoting, dare I say, kind of loose connections there. Yeah, that might be a safer direction to go with that, to mention in the realm of like the Bill Burr comedians. Right? Do you remember blueberry muffins, pit bulls, the transgender making out in front of them? Shoot him in the face! all around the mulberry bush. The monkeys chase the weasels. Yeah, so those same ones back around that time, it would have been Gavin Newsom stuff going on over in California. They had them all caught up with changing the sex age, the laws, getting that lowered. I mean, literally everything going on in the world, right? The border, the healthcare issues, vaccines, all this stuff. And here, these people, these activist groups, and different people, the same ones fucking connected to the activist groups who sell and profit and make child and animal pornography, have them all caught up with lowering the sex age. Same fucking people, dude. Sometimes the faces change. We should say the same seats. It's hard to get people to understand that sometimes, kind of like a management position. Oh man, there's a lot of shady stuff going on at that business. The employees are stupid. They have no fucking clue. And they will protect each other and the place. If you say anything bad about the paint job, they fucking get their pitchforks. What'd you say about our paint job? Dude. Right. So anyways, it gets old. We've been doing this since we were kids. It's amazing we're still alive with some of these situations, man. I know. And admit that itself is a miracle to us. We just put ourselves in that scope for a second. It's like a drug. We're like, damn, it's an adrenaline rush. How is that even fucking possible? Holy shit. 'Cause I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up, proudly, gladly, next to you, and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Didn't see that one coming, did you? God bless the USA. But yeah, I mean, at that time, look at the same lines. I mean, it's not Mayan. When you go in that way, which one is it? Orion is up. Orion is up. Hold on. It depends. I guess it depends. Yeah, if you're over there, it's down. I'm wrong. I guess I'm wrong and I don't know anything. She thought it's up. It's fucking down. Well, from your standpoint, I'm looking down, dude. I'm sorry. Don't want no short man. Eeny weeny. Don't want. We're not talking about height or your muscle size, length, nothing. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with shortchanging. No. Are you short-tempered? Stand tall, man. It gets a little better. I mean, how could it get any worse, right? You know, being nailed to the cross ain't so bad. You should try it. It's very nice. I think you might like it. You want to get nailed to the cross? How about you? Who's getting nailed to the cross next? Come on, it's fun. Once you do, it's like being scared to jump in the pool, you know, and then once you do it, you're like, yeah, let's do that again. Take me to church. Not again, Fatty McGee. I like the stairs. They're fun. No, Fatty McGee. The stairs are not fun. All this hard work we went through to build these elevators and escalators so we wouldn't have to listen to fat motherfuckers like you wheezing when they get to the top. No, they can't. Excuse me. They can't hear them fucking the kids over your sirens. They cannot hear them fucking the kids, and they don't even care. They're more concerned about getting you in shape. Or vaccinating you so you just die because you probably can't handle it, you unhealthy piece of shit. Not my words. I'm just letting you know what they say, folks. You can take it out on me. Go ahead. Shoot the fucking messenger. Keep repeating the age-old fucking mistake that human beings have made for eons. You stupid, dumb, fucking monkeys. What were we talking about? You know, the calculator is quite an amazing invention. You just punch these buttons. It does a math equation very quickly. Far surpasses human capability, but not intelligence. You gotta have some common sense there, right? Does that make sense to you? Now, when would the calculator have intelligence? Right, but it wouldn't, even then, is it the calculator? And it took human ingenuity and intelligence to put it together, right? Hot dog? No more hot dogs. My baloney has a first name. It's OSCAR. Cut off their fucking heads. Little motherfuckers. You disrespectful little bastards. It's OSCAR. My baloney has a second name. It's MAYER. I love to eat it every day. More hot dogs, more hot dogs. And if you ask me why, I'll say because they're being disrespectful. You gonna let them fucking talk to us like that? We're trying to help them. Fucking idiots. Go ahead, eat them raw. Yeah, eat them raw. Add a pixie stick to it. The bacteria loves pork and sugar. Did you know that? Wow. Why pork, though? Why is it associated to pork? I mean, actually, there are some good pigs, right? There are good pigs. It's like cows, right? Some will give you mad cow disease and some won't. Why? What was it injected with? How was it killed? Did you cook it properly? Were you storing it at the suggested FDA regulated temperatures? You cannot. You can't. You see how pissed off Gordon Ramsay got. Did you miss that whole era of Hell's Kitchen? And Kitchen Nightmares? And the fucking bollocks? You remember the Squid Show? You remember the bimbos he told off? What year was that? Get your fucking puppies and popcorn, folks. Get your fucking puppies and popcorn. Did I say poppies or puppies? You know, puppy chow and meow chow are going to be on our menu soon, just like other countries. They have dog burgers and stuff. We're going to do it too. Isn't that great? It's happening. You're worried about the fucking maggots. I think it's great. You know, it's very healthy for you. Should we do squirrels too? Open up places. You could put the picture of the squirrel on it, you know, like they do the pig's heads and stuff at some places. They put a picture of the pig or the chicken. You can have a squirrel. Like, Rocky, come eat Rocky. Let's go. Rocky's our friend. No, he's your dinner. I know, right? It's fucked up, isn't it? Well, we were told it wasn't. That's how we were brought up, so eat the fucking squirrel. You know, that's actually against the law. And if you try to force somebody to eat it, they'll probably arrest you for something. It depends. Did it go beyond words? I mean, you could sit there all day long and be like, eat it. Eat the fucking squirrel. You know you want to eat it. Eat the fucking squirrel. Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. They can just walk away, right? This person's annoying me. Now, if you're in class, you just tell the teacher, dude, will you tell this fucking kid to shut up? They will. They'll tell you to shut up. Now eat it. Eat the fucking squirrel. You know, you look how yummy. You could talk all fucking day long. You eat that fucking squirrel. Or now you start threatening them. I'm going to cut your arm off if you don't eat that squirrel. That's criminal. Threatening, motherfucker. Not in this world. Did anyone hear me? Who's going to believe you? No one's going to believe you over me. Now, if you take the squirrel and you shove it in their face and try to cram it down their throat, okay, so now that's assault. You see the difference? Do you understand? Right. I mean, you might, and if you get pissed off at that, eat the squirrel. No one's doing anything about it. You're just going to let them keep fucking eat the squirrel. It's really annoying. I'm trying to do my homework. Motherfucker's about to get smacked in the fucking face. All right, now you're getting a backhand. They just got a backhand. Now you're in trouble for assault. See how that works, officer? That was a business for him, too. I know, and you notice how the people who wouldn't get involved with any of that stuff and are fed up with it and trying to help people have been targeted, killed, their children targeted. Hi, my name's Mary. We're at the Governor Hill Mansion in Augusta, Maine, and I have 4 children here, and my youngest 2 are in the hands of sick, murderous pedophiles who were vaccine injured behind my back in 2013. And we've had it beyond being fed up over and over again. The ignorance, what's happening here with the children, the activists, the fucking psychos, Maine Parent Federation, state departments, fearing the non-vaxxers, Karens, bullies, aiding and abetting some of the sickest, fucking nastiest criminals and pieces of shit to help teach us a lesson. Get the cartel family, shoplifters. Whatever it is, you are not justified. Well, hold on. Let me check my book again. Yeah, no matter what you say and what you think is legal, not justified in my book, motherfuckers. Nope. Not justified. Not justified. Not justified. Immorally fucking wrong on every level. Every fucking level. You know what? There is no fucking excuse except for your little, I was scared. I was really scared of the non-factors, but I really believed. But I really did believe. I did see something. I did. They're gaslighting you! You fucking stupid pieces of shit. I'm so fucking sick of this. Proper authorities here in Augusta, Maine need to help these children. In the meantime, we're going to make ourselves a green tea, go to reading class. Might listen to a little bit more of this. They're live right now. Isn't that cool?
If the strike goes through and it impacts some of the games.
This is horribly ugly, but this is exactly what, and by the way, do you think Karen Bass cares about the World Cup? No, she cares about Karen Bass. And she cares about winning the election. And she's going to come out there and say, President Trump and the World Cup.
What about Mr. Banan?
To see her associating it with that way. And she's going to say, these workers got what they had long deserved. You're going to hear that. That's her Marxist side of it.
Are you in class?
The World Cup organizers have done a horrible job. You need to go to city by city by city and clear all the things that need to be cleared.
My thought
Otherwise,
muscles are tired.
Like this. Did you know in Mexico what happened yesterday? What happened? They are so worried about fighting at the World Cup. They said it's possible that they will not allow beer to be served, at the World Cup stadium that's in Mexico. Did you see that? And then AB InBev and Modelo, they're like, wait, what? I thought we paid for some advertising here. You're telling me we can't do it? And I think what this is showing is going to be ugly in LA, but the World Cup organizers have done a hellaciously bad job of putting it together. Look at the PR they've gotten hit with. They allowed tickets on a lottery system to actually go out in bundles of 10. Immediately they went to the stalker markets at tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Compromise.
Number two,
Compromise.
they point out that the security
They can have a
protocols
bodega
are even worse
next
than
to
the
it.
Super Bowl. Wait a minute, how's that possible? The American Super
It's
Bowl
only
is a
fair.
huge target, and they manage to get people in and out. Why wouldn't they say, hey, Roger Goodell at NFL, who are your security people? You hold the Super Bowl in a different city every year, and you manage to get people in and out safe, and you avoid problems. Terrorist attack. That hasn't happened. Then now they go to LA that, hey, you've cleared your union, right? Your union's good to go here. You talk to the union leaders. We don't need any trouble. Nope, they come out and the union leaders strike. The people aren't striking. They're greenlit by the union leaders. And then Mexico loses control of the populace, which isn't surprising. And suddenly now they're like, well, you can't serve beer, can't do anything. And you have major sponsors and patrons saying, wait, I can't go get a beer and go to a World Cup game? It's just, they've lost control of the whole thing. This isn't, so far, Pat, tragically, unfortunately, this is like a D- for the organizers.
Yeah, I agree.
I blame PBD. I'll tell you why. Because wherever PBD leaves, the state gets better. Have you noticed that?
The state gets better?
You leave, and the state that you go to gets better, and the state that you left.
Oh.
Sorry about that, Pat.
I was about to
Sorry about that, Pat.
I'm like, good
My
one.
bad.
Pow.
I know you've been wearing those shoes for the last
Adam, it's
172
too
days.
early for one of your backwards arguments.
Yes.
What I'm saying is,
barricaded
I remember when you did
January
a,
6th.
this would have been
I saw it
2020,
first.
you did a board episode
So
about
he's saying
Disney,
they get the Midas
California
touch.
versus Florida.
Yep.
And the way that the governors of California and the governors of
DeSantis
Florida
and
basically
Newsom.
managed it.
Yep.
Ultimately, what I think is this. We're seeing the rise of the Sun Belt great states of Florida and Texas, and we're seeing the demise of California and New York. These amazing states and these amazing cities, New York City, California, LA, San Francisco even, the greatest cities that the world has ever known. And sadly, they are no longer being that case. So we're going to see this. You can revisit this in a few years. Between New York and LA, when you have the Mamdanis, the Hochul's, the Basses, the Newsoms, and then in Florida and Texas, you have the Abbotts, the Cruzes, DeSantis, and we're going to see what happens with Byron Donalds and Jay Collins here in Florida. Florida is the future. Texas is the future. Unfortunately, LA and New York are the past and relics of what was once great.
Let me ask you a question.
And the future of LA and New York is social Marxism, and I think that's terrible. And it's happening.
Well, let me just say one thing before I finish up. You remember the story? I don't know if we covered it last week. California loses its Fortune 500 crown to Texas.
Byron Donalds,
just turned
Jay
22, and
Florida's
I used
the
to.
future.
They had a news unit, a mobile news unit, WEZD printed all over it. 1260. Can I take a break and then we'll take a break?
Okay, well, we're chatting here with George Carlin. The book Breed Droppings is now out in paperback. We'll continue with George and you on the toll-free if you call right after this short break. News unit. What are the call letters?
WEZE 1260 on your dial in Boston, the easy listening line. And they had a mobile news unit, and one weekend I drove it to New York City to buy some marijuana and to be with my friends. And I was
They must have loved that.
Oh, it was wonderful. We were driving all around. See, I'm from Harlem. I'm from the Upper West Side of Manhattan, what we called West Harlem. And I had places that I could score over in Spanish Harlem, and we were driving this mobile news unit all through Harlem looking for someone who had joints to sell. And they got a hold of me, not in the news unit. They got a hold of me a little later that night. I got home. They called me and said, "Where's the news unit?" I said, "It's outside. It's on 121st Street." And they said, "Well, we have a prison break at Walpole Prison here." And I said, "Well, they'll have another one next month, so cover that one." Because they always had a prison break. It was an easy place to get out of, apparently. So I said, "There'll be another one."
Exactly.
And that was the last thing I did that got me fired.
Yeah.
But I had set up the deal in such a way because Cardinal Cushing, the Roman Catholic Cardinal Cushing of the Boston, he was a celebrity in his own right.
He's the man who spoke at JFK's inaugural.
That's right. And a powerful figure in Boston politics and Boston life in general. And Cardinal Cushing, on this radio station I was on, the diocese bought 15 minutes each evening from 6:45 till 7, and he would lead the rosary. And there were apparently nuns and some priests and brothers, whatever, some religious members in his presence, and he would lead it. And then we called him over the guy.
Key members of its managerial, executive and technical staff have been denied visas. The US State Department says all of Iran's players and necessary members of its support squad will be allowed entry, but it also says it is not going to allow Iran to, quote, abuse this system to sneak terrorists into the United States under false pretenses. Now, Iran is...
Okay, so when you're seeing that, by the way, their matches are LA, Seattle. They were due to stay in Tucson, Arizona, but now will fly in. They can either enter the morning, but they must leave the same day, said their Iran envoy, Abul Fazi Hassan Didehi. They added that Iran would not be allowed to abuse the system. However, Iran's embassy in Turkey said visas have been denied to a large portion of the managerial and executive staff and accused the Americans of politically biased interference in sport. They claim visas have been denied to a large portion of the managerial and executive staff. Iranian state media claimed that the head of football Federation and his deputy were among those denied entry. Iran's opened their World Cup, like he said in there, with New Zealand and California on June 16 before facing Belgium and Egypt in California and in Seattle. So there's kind of a publicity stunt, or it could be a part that the U.S. is just trying to protect of anybody coming in. Tom, how do you process the story?
Well, a couple sides to it. First of all, the U.S. State Department is trying to prevent them from sneaking people in here. Oh, technical assistant and everything. It's pretty clear that's what they're saying they're trying to do.
Yep.
They're calling it that. Oh, I'm not going to give you a visa because we're calling it that. The other side of it is, I think they don't want the players to have a amount of free time to maybe to connect with other players from other teams, other countries, or decide that maybe they want to defect, because defections have happened from the Iranian team. You go back years and everything, there's always one person or somebody wants to get out. We had the women's team, they were worried that they were worried about that, hey,
Oh yeah,
the women's
some
soccer
of
team.
them stayed here.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, if I miss a penalty shot on the field, later I get a penalty shot from an AK-47.
Yeah,
so it's not what I want. And so you've got guys like Mehdi Taremi, who, by the way, could play on any team anywhere in the world if they if they had him on rental, you know what I mean? Just like they do UEFA and Champions League. And nobody wants him to it. So that's what I think, Pat. I think there's two things going on here. Good from the State Department, but I think the other side is it's obvious that given the chance, some of those players would want freedom.
Yeah, makes sense. I want to get to the next story. Next story I want to get to is Lewis Hamilton. And then we'll get to the Iran story as well here in a minute because we got a bunch of different things to go through. Lewis Hamilton is sitting there doing a podcast with Jay Shetty. And he makes comments about billionaires. Now, keep in mind before you watch this, this is a guy worth $500 million dating Kim Kardashian, who drives fancy cars, who allegedly moved to Monaco to save taxes.
And all that, and he this night, he
must have been a highly rated program.
It was big in Boston. Really? I'm telling you. And 15 minutes it was, and he's supposed to be over. 7 o'clock comes the news from NBC, and I'm running the board. And I have the FCC log there. It's my responsibility, Tom, right?
Yes, sir.
To get NBC on time.
Get the news on the air, 7 o'clock.
Okay, and it was an Alka-Seltzer. It was a sponsored one.
That's correct.
It wasn't U.S. war bonds.
Not sustaining, fully sponsored. Right?
And that means money that was in red on the log. And I'm sitting there, and he had started by talking about the Little Sisters of the Poor. He did about 10 minutes on there. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes on them. And he was late getting the gospel, the rosary started.
By the way, Jay Shetty,
and he was up to about the fourth sorrowful mystery.
And by the way,
and I decided, it's coming up, it's about 10 seconds left. I say, well, he's got to go away. So I potted him down. I bring up the network. Hey, Alka-Seltzer presents the news and everything. And he was on the phone, because you have a little earpiece in there. He was on the phone within 30 seconds. And his line was, I'd like to speak to the young man who turned off the holy word of God. And he was a voice, he sounded like he was coming from heaven anyway, because of his drama, very self-involved man. So that was, and the radio station, to their great credit, backed me up. They said he was running the log and he was running the board, and
well, the radio station is interested not so much in the Word of God as they are in the Alka-Seltzer commercial.
That's right. Although the diocese paid for their 15 minutes, but they had their 15.
That's right. They had their 15.
Later, Cardinal Cushing. So I went away from Boston happier and with a little bit of a reputation in town.
I'm sure. Here's Michael on the toll-free in Los Angeles. Hi, Mike, and welcome to CBS.
Hi, Mike.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
We're well.
I'd like to ask George how he feels getting old.
Getting old? I thought that was the middle of the sentence. Oh, I feel fine about it. I have no problem. I'm 61 years old, and I really, I don't think about numbers and stuff and death. I'll die at 94. I'm going to live till 94 because my Uncle Martin did push-ups in my kitchen when he was 94.
Okay. Michael, thanks for calling, and thank you for joining us on the phone tonight. Have you always had a problem with authority? Like, let me say 2 words to you.
Yeah.
Air Force.
Air Force. Yeah, we fought each other to a draw. It was just a wonderful thing. They had to let me go finally. You enlist for 4 years, and you're supposed to stay 4 extra in the reserve. That was what you committed to.
That's right.
I was 17. I went in there, and I was in an elite maintenance squadron called Armament and Electronics Maintenance. We worked on the B-47s. There were no Trident submarines then. There were no atomic submarines. There were no missiles in silos. We were the only thing. We were called Strategic Air Command. We keep the peace. That was our slogan. Well, they didn't know what they got.
General Curtis LeMay, right?
General Curtis LeMay, a wonderful, stable man running that. Yes.
Not in danger of going around the bend at any time. No. Remember the cigar?
Oh, sure. He ran for president too, didn't he? Arthur Godfrey was going to run for president with Kurt LeMay, I think, or something like that. It was just strange. Peter LaSalle told me that. Anyway, getting back to the Air Force,